There is one habit that actually is a true test of your strength, and that is vulnerability. Okay? And vulnerability and transparency are not the same thing. I know a lot of times people get them conflated, but an example I like to use when it comes to transparency and vulnerability. Transparency is saying to a person, hey, I don't like those shoes. It's a truth, but there's nothing tied to it, right? Me telling you I don't like those shoes is me just telling you how I feel. I have no stake in the game, okay? Maybe you probably don't like me, but I don't care, right? There's nothing there. But vulnerability is saying, hey, you know what? A lot of times when I walk out of the house, I feel very insecure. I don't like how I look. I feel like my clothes don't fit me properly. I feel like my eyebrows are too close, right? Or something even deeper. Hey, look, this friendship means a lot to me. This relationship means a lot to me. But sometimes I fear that you don't value me that much, or that eventually you'll get tired. That's vulnerability because you're giving somebody information, okay? And they can do what they will with. They may even hurt you with that, okay? That's vulnerability. And I know the other one sounds a little bit insecure, like, oh, hey, I fear that you may not like me enough. It's a difference because if somebody's doing that from an insecure space, it's like, well, what do I need to do to keep you? Vulnerability is just simply saying, hey, you know, this has crossed my mind, you know, and it could be a truth. And sometimes I sit with that and it does affect me. Okay? And what if that person does leave? Well, now there's the emotional space of it. An insecure person might try to save or whatever you need me to do and be, I'll do that. Just don't leave me. But a person that is rooted in insecurity is like, yeah, you know, I actually had a feeling about this and I feared it. Damn, this sucks. This really does suck and it hurts. Right? Everybody's trying to walk around being unbothered, but a lot of times I find that those people are the most fragile. Because when you are truly emotionally resilient, or at least trying to build it, you don't bypass your feelings. Okay? You actually sit by them, you sit with them, you have conversations. And instead of you beating yourself down from being human or trying to beat it out of you, you recognize, hey, you know what? This hurts. I'm uncomfortable with it, but I'm willing to sit. I'm willing to understand it. I'm willing to go through my process. All right. One thing I hear too often, and it rubs me wrong, is like this glorification of how easy it is to get rid of friendships, or how friends always grow apart. And it's almost like people are positioning themselves as more righteous or more enlightened or more evolved. Like, oh yeah, you know, that friendship didn't serve me anymore. Or yeah, friends go apart, we find our journeys, and you know, that's just what it is. And if you look under the hood, a lot of those people have avoided hard conversations. A lot of those people have avoided their own responsibility. But if we paint it like, oh, it's just been a mutual, amicable thing, and you know, I'm on my path, they're on their path, then there's no questions that are ever asked, right? But truth be told is when we genuinely care about people, even people who have probably been careless with us, it should hurt you to release those relationships. It should deeply affect you. Like I said, even if people didn't care about you properly, because truth be told is when we genuinely love other people, it's not always about what they are doing for us. Okay? Love is not this transaction. When you genuinely love a person, it's like, yeah, I genuinely do love you. It doesn't mean I'm going to be mistreated by you continually, but I genuinely do love you. And if I recognize that I have to now reevaluate this relationship or step away from it, I'm really upset about that. It actually hurts me, and I will grieve when I do it. But I still recognize it's necessary, right? That's what emotional strength comes from. It doesn't come from trying to be dismissive or avoidant or bypass the experience. If anything, that tells us that you have a fear of sitting with yourself. And you find other ways to distract yourself, Okay, you find content or information that reinforces this idea that I'm protecting my peace, and sometimes you just got to cut people off, right? And a lot of the people who are seeking that information are looking for a microwave result without doing the actual work, right? I'm trying to skip over all of that. Emotional strength comes from having moments where you may feel broken and you have to rebuild yourself, being honest. Those are some of the most resilient people who have been through hell, walk through it, and are still standing with a certain level of compassion, right? I know what I've been through. I know how this feels, but my goal isn't to necessarily make other people suffer. My goal is for me to not suffer anymore, obviously, but also my goal is to not become resentful of this other individual or have them feel the wrath of who I am or how I feel about them, without there being communication, without there being course correction or accountability. And I know everybody says, well, what's the cap off? Like, when do you know it's time to walk away? When do you know it's time to stay? I always say, pay attention to how resentful you feel about this individual, okay? Because if that resentment is building, then it's probably an opportunity for you to take a good look at who you are and how you're moving, but also what has not been taken care of or addressed in this dynamic. Because we all have a different threshold for our pain tolerance. And I don't think everybody deserves a chance to be in a relationship with one another. That's not always a requirement to get through life. You get to be picky, you get to have standards, but also it's important that you meet your own. Emotional strength is the ability to sit with the discomfort of failure, uncertainty, okay, loss, and still come out of it on the other side with a certain level of integrity, responsibility, sincerity, maturity, and accountability. Okay? The people who are always trying to pretend that they are so unbothered are the people who are the most bothered and who will break the quickest. So ask yourself and pay attention to, what have I been trying to avoid from feeling? What have I been trying to dismiss this entire time? What happens if I was to lean in or be curious about my experience? What happened if I did allow myself to grieve? Because sometimes our willingness and desire to appear unbothered means that we can't be bothered with other people. We don't have a container to build deeper relationships with other people. We can't even do it ourselves. What will it look like to sit in the discomfort of what you're experiencing and know that coming on the other side of this, I will be better for it? Take care of yourselves. Take care of each other.